Alright, it's only me. I've just come on. I'm going to talk about the recording I did. When was that now? Saturday. Of the Motörhead track Fools. Which isn't one of the better remembered Motörhead tracks, but flipping dog leaving the door open. Nosy dogs. This comes for the 1976 On Parole sessions, which was recorded for United Artists, who Lemmy had a tenuous link with being signed with Hawkwind to United Artists. So they signed them up and sent them in to record what would be their first album. And at this point the band still had Larry Wallace on guitars and Lucas Fox on drums, although Phil Taylor would overdub most of the drums for the album. I think he didn't do the track Lost Johnny or something because he'd been arrested and he was in the jail. But this track Fools is Larry Wallace number, ex-Pink Fairies guitar player, also sings the track, which is why the vocal is a bit different for the rest of the Motörhead tracks that I've recorded. It's just something to represent the really early days of the Motörhead act, because by the time the On Parole sessions got released, which I think was in between Bomber and Ace of Spades round about, once they'd got a bit of notoriety and recognition, United Artists decided, hey, we'll release the tapes and try and make some money off of these guys that are obviously riding the wave of some success now. So I mean, it was looked down upon by Lemmy and the rest of the band. The On Parole album, as it is, doesn't really sound a lot like what the Motörhead would be. Even the 1977 Motörhead album, still getting there a bit, but no there quite yet. But this is quite an interesting track, because it's the only track that was recorded for the On Parole sessions that wasn't re-recorded in some way for the 1977 Chiswick album that resulted in the original Motörhead LP, which is on the front there of the start of their career proper. So I've just got to blast through these tapes here. Oh, hang on a minute, there's somebody at the door. Shut up, man! What are you woofing at? You can't answer the door, I'll need to do it. Beat you. Dad best. Shut up, man. I'm trying to talk about Motörhead here. So anyway, we're going to bang through the tapes here. What we've got on here is, I actually needed a rhythm guitar for this, because it's like a 2 guitar part song. So we've got the main guitar here on track 1, what is a kind of quiet rhythm guitar on track 2. Track 3 is the bass, track 4 is the drums. Track 5 is the lead vocal, track 6 is backing vocal for the chorus, and track 7 is, I think I dropped the lead guitar in on there if I remember properly. And track 8 is blank, because I didn't need to record anything else. But this was all recorded in a bit of a rush on Saturday. So here we go. Hi Helen, there's a parcel there for you. Right, so let's have a play through the tapes, man, and see what's on it. When I'm out in my liquor all sorts. You can have one now if you want. But anyway, I'm going to blast through this. We'll have a listen here what's on the tapes. See, I thought I had free rein with this one, because to make it sound a bit more Motörheady and less Hawkwindy than This is a song of managers and agents out there. See, he sings that with a really Cockney accent on the record, so I made it as Scottish as I could make it, because I don't take Cockney. Are you listening? That's the bass and the drums there. isolated.
Without a thought to how we feel.
Different from the other singing I've been doing.
They pick you up and drop you flat. They tell you life could be like that. You blew it all, they pay you sign. This stupid name and something in mind.
And then I doubled up the singing for the chorus.
We hate the men who make the rules, the ones who always try so hard to make us move like fools.
That's the V drums recorded up the stair in the back room. They always stick plenty of open and shut and hi-hat in there just to make sure it sounds like Phil Taylor. Here's what I'm talking about with the rhythm guitar there. Pretty nice. Here's the guitar solo.
So many lives that get confused. You start to feel you're being used. This type of fan is all they take. What happens to all the bets you make? Every day it gets a little harder just to keep on keeping on. Do we really need all this bullshit? So long now all the thrill is gone. We hate the men.
You get to this last chorus here, where the chorus continues for a wee while, and you get a kind of more melodic, kind of Jimi Hendrix-y kind of guitar solo in here.
So hard to make us look like you.
And then just a reprise of the guitar solo that come earlier on in the song there. They finish up with. And then just a hard finish. So I'm gonna talk about how you play it now, like I usually do with these kind of things. There's always found that this track particularly interesting just because I find it just to be a bit of an anomaly in the Motörhead canon there, just because it's pure Larry Wallace. Larry Wallace also done stuff like Vibrator and On Parole, but they were picked up by the Fast Eddie and Phil Taylor band, whereas Fools just seems to have been forgotten about. So it's in the key of C, which isn't a popular key for Motörhead. There aren't actually a lot of Motörhead songs in the key of C. I'm thinking maybe Dance off Ace of Spades. What else is in the key of C? There's no lot in the key of C, because if you're looking at your fretboard, see as I was at the 3rd fret on the A string, or at the 8th fret on the E string, and Lemmy likes to have his horn round about here at the 7th fret, going round about this, doing all that kind of thing. So having a C in there's a bit of a pain in the arse for Lemmy, because he just seems to no enjoy playing in C that much. But the thing starts off with a C here with this, and then up to F, and then B flat, and back to F, twice for the intro. And that's what the rhythm of guitar will be doing the whole way through, like the chorus. And then before you come in with this. The main riff, which is just a kind of C with a B flat and an F. And you do this walk good thing. And that's the 2 riffs, that's all you need to take you through the whole song, the pattern of the song. Typical Motörhead, 2 different riffs, no middle 8, nothing clever in the middle, just a pattern that just keeps repeating itself, and the energy in it just carries it along and never makes it boring. So then when I come to the guitar solo, I decided I was just going to do it in the key of C, because it's how the C and B flat thing, which you can play in a more kind of minor pentatonic than the C, F and E flat bit, which seems to be more a kind of major kind of signal. So I just did this. No, I didn't do that actually, because that's in D flat. Hang on. And then just did this. To bend up half of that on the B flat there. So anyway, let's have a play through this along with the tapes. I'm going to turn everything off except for the bass, the drums, the rhythm guitar and the vocals. All the other guitars have gone off. So this is Fools. So that's the guitar part. Let's go back now and play the bass part, which is also quite interesting because it's like any Motörhead track. It's the bass that drives the whole thing along. Wait a minute, it changes to my usual Motörhead bass sound here. I just like a tail hang doing this octave hang on the bass here with this. Back in there. That's the whole song right there. So here we go then. I'm going to turn on all the guitars and everything back on, and we'll have a playthrough of the bass, and then I'm going to go and see what damage has been done to my licorice all sorts in here, man. So here we go. This is Fools on the bass. So there we go, that is Fools, comprehensively covered. From the earliest days of Motörhead, even predating the Manticore tapes, which is the Motörhead album that come out earlier on this year. Which, if you've got, I mean, it's alright if you like a bit of Motörhead. It's always great to hear Fast Eddie Clarke playing the guitar if you've got fresh stuff that you haven't heard before. But apart from that, it's a bit of a kind of for fans only. Just talking about the Manticore tapes. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll be back on tomorrow with another one of these studio things, probably at lunchtime for work. And I've got another Motörhead track just about ready to go. I'm just going to finish it off the new. So I'll probably upload that about 6 o'clock. If anybody's interested, if they're no, who cares? But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all later. Keep listening to Motörhead.